Kathy, is there an extra seat there? Is there one right there? Richard's there? Allison's there. Okay. That's fine. Well, it was, but it doesn't have to be. No, that's fine. I can run up here and do it. Okay. Okay. All right, I'll do it. Colby, Dan's gonna sit. Okay.
You're really close. I heard it. That's why I came out.
Henry knows everything. Thank you. Yeah. Amen.
I'm sorry.
Well, I knew some years ago that we had a schedule. Somebody probably knew, like I already got the email together. How does but the brain, one a lot of times you're probably yeah. So, yeah. That's the decision making. I've already talked to language.
Thank you. I'm glad you. Say that again. Oh yeah. They're real order, real good cheerleader. Oh, okay. I know she is. She is a busy one. I'm Sure, yeah. Look forward to getting to know you better. He's gonna drive it off
For those of you who are visitors with us, you stumbled across the best service organization in the city of Tyler. The Rotary Club of Tyler is part of a network, that's it, of 1.2 million people around the world. One of the things I was reading in the last Rotary magazine that I thought was very fascinating was one of the reasons that Paul Harris started the Rotary Club was because of his sense of loneliness for a lot of people that as industrialization and urbanization was beginning back in the 20th century. There were a lot of young men that came to Chicago from the farms and from villages, and they would come to this big city, and they didn't know many people. They didn't have a friend network. And Paul got to thinking about this would be one good reason to have an organization such as we have, and then put together this idea that we can service above self. Loneliness is one of the probably worst diseases we have around the world. I think it ranks up there with obesity and smoking and different things that contribute to death. It can also lead to dementia. I was reading that, you know, if you attend Rotary enough, like 40 different meetings, you're gonna develop friendships here that will stead you well for many, many years to come. It's great to have all of you here. Our pianist for today is Vicki Conway, who always does a masterful job. I would encourage all of you to put your cell phones either in the off position or the vibrate position so that we don't have cell phones going off during the meeting. Now, Larry, if you'll go ahead and come on up, and King, if you'll go ahead and come up too. Larry is going to lead for us in the pledge and the national anthem.
Thank you. If you would stand with me, let's pledge allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed, and the twilight's last gleaming, those blood stripes and bright stars through the perilous night, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets in air, loud the bursting in air, gave
Dean Ramey will bring our invocation and introduction of guests.
Thank you, Allison. Let's pray. We sing your praises, O Lord. Give you the glory for this day. We thank you that you're the same yesterday, today, and forever. You never change. You're faithful. We trust you. We thank you for this club. We thank you for this wonderful lunch we've had, the leadership of the club, and we thank you for our speaker today. Oh Lord, just keep us well, protect us, our families from this virus, and oh Lord, help us to rest in your presence, allowing you to direct our steps this day. In his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. You may be seated.
All right, we have some, I guess we ought to get busy Rotarians. Are there any busy Rotarians here? I don't think so. All right, we have several guests, and we're going to let our members introduce their guests. Dan?
I'd like to introduce two guests that are here today. Ladies first, let me ask Annie Dwyer to stand. She's my guest today in the computer business here in Tyler, and she filed her application to join the club.
All right.
Then we also have Dan Buchanan, who's my guest here today, to stand. And Dan, tell us a little bit about how long you've been in Tyler and what business you're in.
Well, funny, I sit down at the table and I've already recognized the people that I've spent time with. So I haven't been here long. I feel like I've been here for a long time. My wife and I moved here in December, and then we, for lack of better, I'm a lender, but we lend to companies that either are startups or they may be distressed or going through issues. So I think my customers are really bankers and CPAs and attorneys and folks like that I work with, hand in hand to help companies get back on their feet or get started. So that's what it is.
Is Alan Johnson here?
He is not.
Okay. Austin? Luce? You didn't know anything about this. You want to introduce Blake? No?
Yes, Blake Austin's a good friend of mine. We met at a Power Professionals meeting. He's from Verizon in the White House and does our business cards and signs, all kinds of materials. Has a new baby at home.
Congratulations. Welcome.
And he also has a membership application.
Blake, how many times you been here?
Oh, well, yeah.
And Susan Hill, you have a guess.
She is a branch manager at Southside Bank. She's on the square, and she just graduated from college, got married, and she started a family.
Whoa, holy cow.
Okay, I know there's some other guests here. This table in the corner. No one? What about the middle table at the back? All right, well, welcome to all our guests. Thank you.
Thank you, King. Thank you very much. Is Paul Meiser here?
No.
I didn't think so. Okay. All right.
He had a fish. He was filling in for somebody in Dallas today on the radio, and he wasn't sure he'd make it
Okay.
in time, so.
You heard that. He was filling in for someone in the radio in Dallas and wasn't sure he could make it today. Our greeters for today, just wonderful, beautiful greeters, very loving, outgoing. Michelle Ewart and Kimberly Smotherman. We had them for greeters every single week. Our club would grow by leaps and bounds. They have a friendly face on everything. East Texas Symphony Orchestra concert in the park on September the 4th needs a total of 8 Rotarian volunteers. There was a sign-up sheet out on the table. If you can do that for September the 4th, the duties are from 5:15 p.m. to 7 o'clock. As you can see, and I will be the first to admit I failed on this week, but it really helps Holly so much. If you can RSVP, if you think you're going to be attending, you can see we have a packed house here. And in fact, if you were a visitor to a church and saw it this full, you would turn around and say, well, there's just no seating there. We really need to know if you're going to be here on any particular Thursday so that we can plan accordingly and pay for the meals that are due to us. Semi-annual dues are now past due. Please see Holly if you need a hard copy. I'd hate to be in the business of standing up here and saying, well, now so-and-so has paid their dues, and so-and-so has paid their dues. We haven't gotten to that yet, but I was just saying. A great job on sending in volunteer hours. Our club likes to keep track of that. It's important for us. We all do things outside of Rotary, and we all give to other organizations and churches that we'd like to keep track of. It helps us to understand in the district how we rate, and Rotary likes to know about what all we do too. Please continue to email to Holly your volunteer hours. Our program for next week is Scott Martinez on the East Texas Business Council. Now, it's 12:20, so I'm getting 10 minutes earlier to what I thought I was going to do. We have a great program for today, and I'm going to simply introduce Robin Hampton, who is the new executive director of the East Texas Symphony Orchestra, and she's going to take it from here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please sign up on that volunteer sheet that's going around. I was the one that requested the volunteers. It's going to be a really fun job at Centene Stage. In the middle of Birdfield Park, there's a slope down in front of the stage. We want to keep the kids from coming up the slope and down the slide. And so I really need some great authoritative voices there saying, stay off the slide. So I really can use your help. There it is, right there. It's going around. So my name is Robin Hampton. I'm the executive director. Get closer. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. My name is Robin Hampton. I'm the new executive director with East Texas Symphony Orchestra. This is, I think, my 91st day on the job. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a whirlwind. And I want to say my first week on the job, our new chair of the board that just came in to be Dr. D.M. Edwards right here. So wonderful to work with D.M. So he started working before I started working, and I get a call from Rotary saying, would you like to speak? And I've had the pleasure of speaking with other Rotary clubs around. And the first thing I asked was, well, what time do they meet? And let me tell you, you are the Rotary Club. Thank you so much for that. And then about 24 hours later, I get this little email asking if I'd like to come hear Judge Ken Starr speak, and I'm thinking, okay, that's the caliber of speakers they have at the Rotary Club. So now I get to speak after Ken Starr. All right. So I hope I don't disappoint. I am fairly new to the area. My husband and I moved here in June of last year. We have relatives all around. I've been summering, coming to Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas for years, but COVID kind of pushed us out of the state, and we retired early. And I wasn't ready to retire. I thought I was. And then I got to know about East Texas Symphony Orchestra. It's near and dear. The whole mission is near and dear to my heart and moving forward. So where am I from? I was born and reared in Napa, California.
Oh, Cali.
That's
Southern. Yeah.
My father was a colonel in the Army, and that's where he landed in 1958 when I was born. So you know how old I am. But one of the other things that Dr. Edwards has invited me to was a state of the city presentation. where Mayor Don gave his presentation. And I have a little bone to pick with Mayor Don, so if you see him out there, just tell him Robin's got something to say to you. You see,
did the other road.
he is in,
The other.
the other club. Not me, but the other.
Yeah.
Well, he gave a presentation, you know, what's going on with the roads and what's going on with this. And then he gave the water report. He was really proud of that. Let me tell you about the water I grew up with. When you turn on the cold, a nice buttery Chardonnay comes out. And when you turn on the hot, a nice robust Cabernet would come out. But the secret, folks, during the summer is turning them both on at the same time to get that beautiful rosé. So, Mayor Don, the water's a little different here. But why am I here today? I'm here to say thank you if you've already bought your season tickets. Thank you if you're going to buy your season tickets, and we appreciate your support. This is a crazy year that we've come out of. Absolutely crazy. And I will say, music kind of got me through it. Every time it got weird, you know, being home and in my sweats, and not being able to interact, and I'm a people person, I love interacting with people. You know, having music there helped get me through the whole COVID lockdown, if you will. And then I started to think, every moment in my life that's been important, a birthday celebration, a wedding, even a funeral, I can attach music to it. Music is part of our soul. Music moves us. Music is life. And so I ask you to join us this year as we celebrate the season starting on November 13th. And we have got an amazing lineup, and our director, Richard Lee, will be up in a minute to talk more about each one of those concerts in our season. But I also want to invite you right now on September 4th, East Texas Symphony Orchestra, in collaboration with the city of Tyler, we are presenting a free concert in the park at Birdville Park. So get there early. That's why I need the volunteers. So thank you for volunteering. Get there early, get a good seat, and enjoy some really beautiful music. It promises to be upbeat. It promises to be celebratory. It promises to have a sneak peek of the upcoming season. And that's on September 4th, 6 p.m. But get there early if you want a good seat. So please join us on September 4th for our free concert for the community, Birdville Park. Don't miss it. It's going to be great. And if I get my way, and if DM gets his way, it will be an annual event to celebrate our beautiful city of Tyler. Sweet.
Yay.
So without further ado, I want to introduce our director of music, Richard Lee, and he's going to tell you a little bit about the season and what's going on musically. But if you have any other questions about the symphony, how can you be a part of it, how can you get really, really good season tickets, I can help you out. Go to our website. There's information on the table about the park, about the season, and I hope to see you all there. At Birdville, make sure you come up and say, hey, I'm from the Rotary.
Thanks, Robin. It's such a pleasure to work with her. She's certainly has a gift communicated that is going to really hold us in a good place moving forward. So I'm Richard Lee. I've been here for a while. I've been at the club 3 times now. I thank you also for not meeting at 6 in the morning. Other clubs still remain nameless to do, and speaking at 6 in the morning is a lot harder than speaking at 12:30 in the afternoon. I always feel a little bit like a school teacher doing this, and I don't intend to, but if you could get your books out, they look like this, and follow along with me as I go through the schedule. I want to, though, reiterate, September 4th, not only being free, the one thing about what Robin said about music is all true. Music is life, music is good for the soul. I mean, I believe it, we all believe it, I think. But the thing I hear most from folks is that this is not my kind of music. So I just wanted to point out to you that if you come to the concert on September the 4th, you will hear all kinds of music, including some that I'm confident you would categorize as being your kind of music. When you come to the season starting on November and
running through April of next year, I guarantee, maybe not all the concert, maybe not all the music, maybe not all the concert, not all the music, but some, a good portion of it will be in that category of your kind of music. And I don't even know you, right? Some of you I know. I don't know what your kind of music is, but that is our goal. That is my goal. That is my mission. I recognize we live in Tyler. Some folks love classical music, some folks don't. Some folks love the accordion, some folks don't. And so we've got to have a balance in the mix as far as we're able to in our very short season, provide literally something for everyone. And I think the season does accomplish that to a T. So let me prove that to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So we start in November, which I feel really good about. Our season normally starts in September. But when our season got canceled for the second time, we decided to have a window of safety and push our season back just in case something like this happened. And we're in the midst of another wave here. So I feel really confident about and glad that we decided with the foresight we did to start our season late. We are certainly confident that our season will move forward at this point in time. We promise you that if you buy season tickets and we have to rearrange things, we will be extremely generous and nice to you about rebooking, refunding, whatevering you want us to do with your tickets. So please don't have any fear in that regard. We're not going to take your money and run away to Napa Valley. We may be tempted. Our first show I'm really proud of, you may or may not know Sylvia Duramo. If you are from a TJC person, you probably know Sylvia Duramo pretty well. So she's a local gal. She doesn't live here anymore. She's moved on to huge things. She's working at a little place called the Metropolitan Opera House in New York City. So that's where she is right now. But she is a soprano. She is a local girl. Her family still lives here. She went to TJC before moving out to further her higher education. But that's irrelevant. I mean, believe me, I'm proud of Tyler, but I won't invite someone to sing with the orchestra unless they're good. I don't care if you're my neighbor and you walk my dog and get in the mail. It doesn't matter. I don't thank you for doing that, but that doesn't mean I'm going to put you on stage if I don't believe in your talent, your ability. This woman is phenomenal. She is phenomenal. No more than good, John. She's phenomenal. And I mean that. And we just happen to. She just has to be local. Even Van Cliburn was phenomenal, right? Yeah. And he's local-ish. You just don't know where talent will blossom and bloom. And, you know, she obviously has a very artistic family. Her siblings are all in the fine arts as well. So I'm excited to have her sing with us. She's going to sing a really, really hard, long aria and a really, really slow, beautiful aria, like Beethoven and Dvorak. We're playing other stuff in the program. This is a real difficult one because this is our first concert, my first concert since February of 2020. So it was really difficult to choose the right music. This is no ordinary concert. It'll be the first time in a long time that I will be on the podium. My colleague musicians in front of me on the stage. This ain't no rinky, they're never rinky, but this one is kind of special. So I thought long and hard about what the program, and Sylvia's part of that because we want to celebrate us, we want to celebrate Tyler, and we want to celebrate Tyler moving forward and hopefully looking past COVID. But also the keynote piece of that program is a piece called the New World Symphony. And I think that is a very apt title because, knock on wood, we are hopeful that we will be in that, so to speak, new world by the time November rolls around. It's a beautiful piece of music. Some of you probably know it. It's by Dvorak, very, very well-known symphony. So that's concert one. Thank you. You guys look like you're really paying attention. I love this. Yeah. Not a single one of you looks bored yet. Just give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. Yeah. Concert 2 in January, Charles Yang. So if you were an ETSO or indoor concerts, we occasionally, twice, have invited a really great group called Time for Three to play with us. Time for Three is a trio of class musicians, but they are so talented and their interests are so varied that they play everything. They played Devil Came Out of Georgia. They played Firework, exactly. So it was really, they play pop, they play everything, they play classical, and they have these arrangements that are so clever. Charles Yang is one of the violinists in that. So we've invited him to come back solo. He's my wife's favorite. She's very, very happy about this. I don't know why looking at that picture. I mean, I think I'm a far more special human being than Charles Yang. But he plays the violin better than I do. He sings better than I do. And he has that kind of, he writes his own music. He's been performing some of his own original stuff. And he has that soulful, folky vibe that my wife seems to gush over, that I apparently don't have. Lisa, don't tell her I said all this. Come on. But that's what I alluded to earlier, is he's going to be very, very close. He's playing Ravel, he's playing Bach, he's playing classical stuff, but he's also playing a Queen medley. I have no idea how he's going to do it, but he's going to sing, play the violin, and we're going to accompany him. Then he's going to do some sort of survey of Queen hits. Yeah, exactly. So there is something for everyone. And he's just a super nice guy and super talented. Like I said, he'll do everything, but he may even dance. But he'll sing, he'll play, he'll talk, he'll crack jokes. He's a wonderful human being and a very, very, very talented violinist. So there's a huge mix there that I'm proud of. That may suggest maybe one, if you're one of these people who say, I want to support you, you seem like an okay guy, but you don't do my kind of music, try that one. And come talk to me afterwards. There will be stuff there that you will like. If you're not a classical music lover yet. Concert number 3. Interrupt me with any questions. No? Once, twice. Rock the Classics 2. It is a sequel. So 4 or 5 years ago, we did Rock the Classics 1 with Nick Pensis and what we dubbed the Stanley's Barbecue All-Star Band. So he's going to select a bunch of musicians, most of whom play at his wonderful restaurant. Sounds fancy. His wonderful barbecue joint.
Establishment, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great place. When I first came to town in 2012, I didn't have a kitchen at home. I did have a home, but I didn't cook very much. I was really at Stanley's every day. And some things happened that I wasn't proud about, so I cut back on going to Stanley's every day. But I'm still very, very regular at Stanley's. He's a wonderful musician, he's a drummer, and this also is going to have a sort of a juxtaposition of classical pop. And my sort of goal through this concert and through the first Rock the Classics 1, I will be narrating and conducting. And what I'm going to try and do, and I think I was pretty convincing the first one. I don't know if some of you were there, but I try and make connections between classical music and popular rock music. Say, it's just music, right? I mean, we came first. All the stuff that you lifted from us, chords, melodies, notes, theory, all that stuff. When you play a D major chord and you play a G major chord, those two chords go together because we invented those rules that make them go together, right? So, not to get territorial, but it's true. So we've chosen all these pieces where we try and play a pop tune that you will know, probably, and then a classical piece that steals from, or borrows from, or uses theoretical aspect from that classical piece of music, right? So, off the top of my head, sometimes it's outright theft, like they borrow melodies from classical music, but sometimes they borrow just ideas. So I grew up in the 80s, I'm a classical in the 80s. I know it's now considered old music, but I listened to a lot of what they call house music in the 80s. So I listened to a lot of New Order, so we're going to play a little New Order. We're going to play Blue Monday, which is their big hit. If you don't know what that is, there's a Volvo commercial, which makes me feel so old, that uses Blue Monday now. Volvo, not Ferrari. Volvo, not insult any Volvo drivers. But, so that piece of music has a consistent rhythmic pattern. Over and over again, right? That's a classical bit, right? And probably the most famous piece that uses a repetitive, which is called, and I'll tell you this, in February, it's called an ostinato. Can you all say that? Ostinato. It is a repetitive rhythmic pattern. And the most famous classical music that has a repetitive rhythmic pattern, and again, you need to go back to the 70s when this was really famous, was a real sultry piece of music called Bolero by Ravel. Bo Derek, some of you may recall that movie. So that piece of music also has a repetitive rhythm pattern that is played through, that starts and just constantly plays through the whole darn thing. It's amazing. But that whole idea, whether on purpose or not, New Order borrowed from classical music. And we're gonna do a whole bunch of things. We're gonna play country waltz, and there's no denying that country waltz came from us, right? Waltz music is a classical form, and country did its own thing to it. But I will go into detail about. I'm gonna play a Mozart kind of a waltz. A slow waltz in classical music is called. This one is boring. The slow music is called a Ländler, and you might know the Ländler because Maria von Trapp and the captain danced the Ländler on the patio during the Sound of Music. That was a Ländler. So a Ländler is a slow waltz, and the slow waltz sounds a lot like a country waltz. It really, really does. So we'll play Tennessee Waltz, and we'll play a Ländler by Mozart, and you will be astonished at how similar they sound. Okay? So that's kind of the idea of that concert. I hope I didn't make it sound too boring, but I will be doing some talking, hopefully to make links and prove Robin's point. Music is life, music is music, music is all good. Okay, no, not all good, but good music can come from anywhere. And I think that's very true. Questions? Yes, ma'am. Did I actually promise, or did I sort of just hum and haw a little bit? But next time, I promise.
Yeah.
Next time.
It's all recorded now.
What? I tell you what, if we get 50% of this room subscribing brand new, I will do all those things and more. So the challenge is out there. Robin will let me know what the Rotary Club Italia does in terms of subscription numbers. I'm sorry, I didn't bring my viola. I talked to Rob about this. I get this request a lot, and I will do it. Haven't I done this here once? Well, I did it for Sunrise. I'm just kidding. I did it. I did not. Why would I do that? They meet at 6 in the morning. Why that? No, there's no way. No, I did not.
Nobody there was awake.
Believe me, they're awake once they start playing. I will do it. Just you got to promise me this. No one asked me to play double percent Georgia. I get that every time. I'll play anything else.
Well, Jethro Tull?
I don't know much Jethro Tull.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I will save it for the next time that I promised to bring in. Okay. Concert 4, Beethoven at 251. That's a weird title. So last year, it was Beethoven's 250th anniversary of his birth. So the entire world went Beethoven mad. But so did COVID. So this concert that was scheduled for the actual year of Beethoven's birth did not occur. So it's his 251st birthday. That's still pretty darn old and deserves to be celebrated. So we're taking that concert pretty much as it was and pushing it forward 1 year, slightly late. It's not our fault. But the important things to know is there'll be a whole bunch of music by Beethoven, which is probably the most well-known classical composer there is. But I went through the history of the orchestra's playing history, and I chose pieces that have never been done here before. And it sounds odd, but there are a whole bunch of pieces, good pieces, that for whatever reason have never been done here. And I wanted to present that to Tyler people because, for his birthday, I'm sure he'd want us to play stuff that isn't played every year, like Beethoven 5 and Ode to Joy, and great pieces, but it's done, right? So we're going to bring you some stuff that's a little bit less often performed. But this cellist, again, Colin Carr, amazing. Really, the best word for him, let me give you a little secret. All soloists of a certain caliber can play amazing. The difference isn't their technique, right? The difference is what's inside their brain and what's inside their heart. Some people are more boring, less musical, less passionate, but also some people don't take it seriously. They say, I've played this 60 times. I don't need to look at it. I don't need to study it. I don't need to think about it. I'll just go on cruise control. and play it for the 60th time, and it'll be fine, and it will be fine. But Colin Carr's one of these guys that doesn't. I mean, you know, he takes it upon himself to say, yes, I've done this 61 times. He's playing a piece that he's done probably that many times, the Haydn cello concerto. But he always thinks, and he always plans, and he always analyzes. He's cerebral, and that's a good thing, right? Because you want, just like you want doctors to be on top of the game and always study and learn, you want musicians to know and think constantly about how things are supposed to go. Otherwise, we're useless. Otherwise, just buy our CD and it'll be encapsulated in time forever, right? Music is evolving the way I think about Beethoven pieces evolve. And Colin agrees with that. Not all musicians do. So that's why he's come to Tyler, because he's a real musician who thinks really hard and takes his craft seriously from a sort of a mental standpoint. John Kumar Parker is a great guy. So he teaches at Rice now, and he's from BC, but he's just one of the funniest, liveliest, most genuine human beings there is. He's a real fun guy to work with. He's a piano player, and he's going to play a piano concerto by Gershwin. Weird, but he wrote a piano concerto, and we all love Gershwin. He's actually something that this country should be justly very proud of. I mean, we produce some great classical music and some great jazz, and he managed to straddle those two worlds really well. So he's coming back to perform a really, really wonderful Beethoven concerto with us, and we're doing a bunch of other things as well to round up that program. But him being here was, I'm going to be honest again, it shouldn't be. The conversation went, what do you want to play? And his list was very short. You know, I suggested a couple of things, but this is like, I never played that. I like to play that once every 20 years. Okay, well, it's just nothing. So he mentioned Gershwin, and that was one that we had never done. And darn it, this is America. I've committed publicly, and I will continue to make sure there's a lot of American music on our programs, because this is our culture. It's hard to understand, but this country not only produces great rock artists and pop artists and everything else, but some great classical composers and great classical musicians that need to be put on the pedestal that they deserve to be on. So that's part of the mission here at the ETSO, is to make sure that we understand how important the culture of America is, and that's why Gershwin's there. So he's playing that. We're playing, I said all this stuff, we're also playing some Russian music, just because, you know, it's a fun balance. Russian music and American music are actually, go figure, really, really different. And when you hear those two pieces, and that's part of what I like to do, I like to sometimes there are two basic ways to program, right? You can program by having things that are similar, like a lot of people say, let's do a whole evening of Mozart. Let's do a whole evening bit. And that can make sense, kind of, because everything's going to have similarities and sort of coalesce around a certain framework, a style. I don't like that. I like contrast. Yeah, let's have a really, really, really kind of legitimately Russian, ironic, acerbic kind of. Listen, if I lived in Russia in the 1920s, I would write pretty acerbic, hard-hitting music too. You were a product of where you grew up. You're a product of who you are and where you were when you were writing. And he had a hard life. You know, Stalin hated him, Stalin loved him, Stalin hated him again. Stalin blacklisted him, he got up, you know, it was just this constant battle with censorship and control. So it was a really, really hard life. So I think you hear that in his music. So to me, that's an interesting contrast. America, Russia, what could be more contrasting? But they both produce great classical music, and you ought to hear everything and decide whether or not you like it once you're done listening. That's kind of what I think. Questions? Yes.
Okay, we have just a couple of minutes.
Sure.
But I think everybody would really love to hear a little bit about you, Richard, about your life and what brought you into such a.
Do I have to tell the truth? Can I make stuff up? But I'm not a Rotarian yet, so do I have to background this? I'm just a guest. No? No? Okay, so briefly, I was like Robin. I'm not from here. I'm from Toronto, so this job brought me here. I applied for. I worked in Canada for over a decade, applied for this job because I heard that a place called Pilot, Texas, that I knew nothing about at the time, was looking for music in 2011 or so. So the process was intense, but I ended up getting the job. You guys are all crazy. I pulled the wool over your eyes, got the job, started work, 2012. And I don't know if this is a nefarious plot. Sometimes I think so because I know people work here, but I met a local gal, and she works at UP Health, and you know, she charmed the heck out of me, and we ended up getting married in 2016. And since then, I'm a resident here, and a citizen, in fact. So I'm an American citizen now, and I live here. No, it's a great country. We're so lucky. And we should always remember that. There are so many horrible, horrible, horrible places to live and work and be. Gosh, and this is definitely not one of them, my goodness. So since 2016, my wife Julie Fully and I live just down the street. We live in Holly Tree, and we're happy, and that's why I like coming to the club, because it's the closest to my house. Just 1 minute drive home. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. In the music business, you never know where it's going to take you. You just really don't. That's true in my case. Sir?
You talk about American music. We ever hear any like boogie woogie or ragtime?
Oh.
Yes. Well, the problem with stuff like that is that a lot of ragtime music, a lot of Scott Joplin is actually keyboard based. So it's easy to play on the piano. It's very hard to play, you know, a lot of ragtime music for orchestra. There are arrangements that exist, but the best composers on the planet that you produce, Leonard Bernstein, Aaron Copland, George Gershwin, all these folks, I program all the time. And I do here. I didn't do it Canada so much. I did, but it wasn't so, you know, up there it was a different thing. It's like, you got to program Canadian music, so I program a lot of Canadian music. But here, this is a great country that produced world-class musicians that perform composers that performed everywhere. People in Berlin are playing Copland, right? People in South America are playing Bernstein. Everyone, everywhere. It's great music. So the commitment is that we only have 5 concerts. So I've committed to playing something that I call from the American canon. So a really established piece of classical music written by an American every year. So there will always be something, but that sort of changes from year to year. But this year it's Gershwin.
At the Versailles Park concert on September the 4th, will you have food trucks available?
Yes, yes.
That'd be a good reason to come early.
Food trucks and a lot of American music. John Williams, John Philip Sousa, all that sort of stuff will be performed there too. I think that's my time. I want to thank you for not falling asleep, and or if you did, for hiding it, because I didn't see anyone fall asleep.
Thank you, Richard. I just wanted to point out on the back of the cards that are on your table, there's QR codes that if you want to take out your phone, hold it up, you know, open it to camera, hold it up. There'll be a bar that comes across the top. You click that. You can go see more about our concert in the park and our season. So that's called a QR code. If you need help, I can help you with.
The programs are all there too. If you want to know a bit more about the music that's going to be performed, it's for the season. It's all there, isn't it?
And I haven't told Richard this yet, but I may be like dancing in September, on September 4th, and I ask all of you to join me down in front. So, I won't do that. I'm a good Baptist girl. But anyway, it's been a pleasure to be here, and I cannot wait to see you at a concert.
Okay, it's time now for our Ace of Diamonds drawing. JD3 has the roller thing, and Mr. Lee, we're going to ask you to pick out the winning ticket. As all of you know, 1/2 of whatever the proceeds are goes to the club, 1/2 goes to the winning member of Rotary. If the guest wins it, they get 1/4 of it. The member, sponsored member gets 1/4. The club gets 1/2. How many, or how much money do we have in the kitty?
$944. We've got 41 cards.
Okay, thank you. All right, Robin, can you read the?
Well, I have to get my reader.
She's got to find her eyes here.
Okay, so you could buy about 6 or 7 good season tickets with your winnings and then make a donation to our annual fund. 5039. 5039. Beautiful neighborhood.
Okay, Mary, let's see how your luck goes.
Oh, she got
She gets half.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll start all over next week. That's fantastic. Okay, let us stand for the four-way test. Of the things we think we can do, first,
Is it the truth?
second,
Is it
third, fourth, we are adjourned.
That's what we got so far. Okay. I do. Oh, and check out.
You know stuff before, I know